They also had tiger dogs. All these
Rico is about to leave.
Yeah. Outside the ship.
So I hope you enjoyed the ship tour. I kind of was silent at the end of the room tour because one of my brothers came in and didn't want to disturb them, so. But anyway, we have the fridge. We're just gonna look at it real quick. We asked them to empty the minibar for us. It's stuff that is not included in the beverage package. We all have some sort of beverage package. And a bunch of expensive prices. All their sodas are $2.95. That's why I got the soda package for about $7.50 a day. So you have about 3 sodas a day, and I think you're over. Yeah. So yeah, we had them empty it. Especially if you've got little kids who be prone to opening that and end up getting a charge to your account. I don't think I noted this stool here. We have some stuff on top of it. This rack here comes off. It's like a wooden table thing. And this is kind of in place of a chair, although they do have a couch. We have some just storage area. So, it's a little bit later than the rest of the room tour because I forgot a few things. We just looked at the fridge, and yeah, we got cabinets. We have some various of our stuff like snacks. I have my different electronics I bring, especially for vlogging. The life jackets are under the bed. Not gonna look under there because we have other stuff under there too. There's drawers. 2 drawers, one has blankets. So that's nice. And we have stuff in the closet, so I'm not really going to look into it too much. We have a safe. You just put your own coat in there. Right up here, area for like hanging stuff. Not the biggest closet ever, but it does its job. 2 hooks. I like to hang my lanyard on here. Be cool if it's closed. Alright, we're in Saint Petersburg. Waiting for it to open. There's the ship.
That we had to pass through this special, control because only the authorized travel agencies are allowed to go there, and to serve the cruise passengers in the port. Well, now that means actually you're in good hands, and we can start. So now, I would like to give you some information about Saint Petersburg. About Saint Petersburg, this is relatively new city. You know, it was founded in 1703. That means that it's like over 300 years, bless you. And so St. Petersburg is a relatively new town, but at the same time it has already a very interesting history. Now I would like to show you this, like this district. You see nothing attractive. Well, you understand why, because it was constructed during the Soviet time. You know, during the Soviet time they actually didn't care about the architecture. So you see just like pretty ugly buildings, some like blocks around, but these are all living buildings, you know, like apartment buildings. And I would like to show you also this building on the left. You know what? This is the hotel, also constructed during the Soviet time in the 70s. Even you see during the Soviet time there was some kind of tourism and they constructed a pretty big hotel. Well, but it was not absolutely even close to some kind of, you know, good hotel during the Soviet time. But today, as you can see on the top of the building, there is a sign of that famous chain of the hotels, Park Inn. This is powered by Radisson. So this is actually the Radisson Hotel. And from the outside it does look pretty, but inside is all renovated, and today is like actually comes to the standards of Park Inn Hotel. So this is like very well, good one, nice with the nice apartments. Well, the only thing is from the outside looks like Soviet building as well. We're going to talk about this person a lot during our program, because you know that Peter the Great actually was the beginner of the city. Saint Petersburg was his brainchild. He constructed the city on a delta of the Neva River, which is the main river of the city. Yes, and I will tell you the history of the foundation of Saint Petersburg. Just would like to give some more information about this district we're just passing by. You know, this is the Soviet area. You see just like typical Soviet buildings on the left. There were apartment buildings, you know, and well, Soviet buildings. And now to compare, you can see this one on the right. You see, this is recently constructed. You see absolutely big difference, right? So this is much nicer building, this one, and well, because today, of course, they're not constructing these buildings like this, you know, on the left. But you know what? And especially that one you see on the left, a little bit ahead of us, this is just perfect example of the Soviet structure. This is pretty ugly one, but you know what? That I will tell you that when the Soviets they took over this country, you know, the situation with apartments was a pretty difficult one, because a lot of people were living in like communal apartments. So it means that several like families were living together in one apartment, which was not really pleasant. There's so many, you know, like funny situations when you just come up to the grocery store and you see the wonderful sign. It says, well, the coffee break till, example, like 9:15, and now it's 9. Okay, 15 minutes coffee break, so we can wait, no problem. Well, but this is actually anyway the you know, typical you know, like operation hours of the grocery store. Okay, but okay, so it might happen everything, so we can wait. Well, you wait for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then you see through the like glass door there is this lady coming, and we just see her knocking the door, and she like comes up to the door and says, "What are you doing?" And changing the sign for the next like 10:15 already. So actually people were not really interested. There were some kind of, you know, the wrong things of that system. Well, not now, of course. Now, like in the capitalism, you know, you have to work quite hard, you know, in order to get something, and you're trying all the time to improve yourself and improve your service you give it to the people, and so on and so on. Well, so that's why, you know, that actually program, ambitious program, was really important, because people, I mean, that program actually made the people happy, and they got some apartments for free. Tsar Alexei, Moscow Tsar Alexei, he fell in love with one beautiful lady, but he was having a little problem. He was married already. But in those days, you know how the solution was? Pretty easy. The lady, I mean his wife, was sent to the nunnery, and that's it. So she like was like forced to take a veil, and she became a nun. Well, and it was like they opened the way, and after that, Alexei married a different lady. But Peter the Great was like, you know, the son of the first wife. So since the lady was sent to the nunnery, she was sent together with her children. And he was staying in that nunnery with his mom. But at the same really like moment, there was like some kind of uprising of the local nobility. You know, the noble people, they just asked the Tsar to move out of Moscow all the foreigners. Because you know that at that time already there were so many like foreigners doing some kind of business. But the Russian nobles, they thought that they were all spies, and they just asked him to move them out, like exile them from Moscow. And he decided to create like a little, some kind of town, a little community all European community because they were all European people. So they were all exiled from Moscow, moved from Moscow to that little place, especially, you know, prepared for that. And it happened that that place was very close to that nunnery where Peter the Great was staying. Since there was no any more attraction around, Peter the Great being so young, he was all the time visiting that little town, and he was all the time growing up together with European people. So that's why he spoke so many languages, and so he loved that culture. You know, he loved that like way how the third, you know, all the thirds of the local people. Actually, he grew up already European, absolutely, because you know that when Peter the Great succeeded to the Russian throne, he did so many important reforms. Buildings constructed by different European masters. Yes, you see this wonderful church. This is like authentic, original Russian Orthodox with typical onion domes covered with silver and gold. You see the monument to the left. This is the first architect, and you see that yellow building. You see it says Trezzini Palace Hotel. Well, today this is the like 5-star luxury hotel, but it was originally his palace. Yes, it was just like his little house, you know, of the architect, because he made quite much money. You know, he constructed this little palace in the city center. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this place is going to be our first picture stop. Well, but as usually we do, when we stop, I'm just like finishing my explanations about what you can see around.
Here we are in the city square.
Palaces of different, you know, noble families. You know what? By the way, the noble families in Russia, they were fabulously rich. Well, what does that mean? Just to give you an example, some families, they could have about 50 palaces in all different Russian provinces. Some of them, they could have a lot of business, you know, some manufacturing, some factories, even gold mines, apartment buildings in their province. This is the State University of Saint Petersburg. You see how big it is? Yeah, this is a pretty big one. And how was this building on the left? Yellow and white. This is the Academy of Science. That was constructed in the 18th century, this building, during the time of Catherine II, Catherine the Great. Yeah, you see how many buildings around. All of them are beautiful, designed by different, absolutely different European masters. Mostly, by the way, by Italian. So that's why sometimes, you know, our Italian tourists, they're so proud because all these like Italian people constructed all these buildings. Now on the left, you see this building. This is, by the way, the first museum in Russia, which was called humorously as a freak show, because you know that Peter the Great had a strange collection of some different, you know, strange things of nature, like animals with 2 heads or 5 legs, something like that, and even human. So that's why it was called as a freak show. And well, he constructed a museum because he actually traveled all the European countries, and he visited some museums like this in Germany called Kunstkamera, and there was like a chamber of curiosities. And so Peter the Great also constructed this kind of museum in St. Petersburg, but the people were not really interested in going to that museum. But Peter the Great at the same time was a pretty good businessman, promoter, because he gave the special order by which every visitor had to be given with a glass of vodka. And there's something to it, like some kind of pie, you know, stuffed with something.
Here is this thing. It's interesting.
She said, well, how do you think I can live in this palace? This is not really a palace with this terrible view. And he asked, well, what's wrong here? What's going on? What's happening? And she said, well, how do you think I can do my breakfast looking at the back side of the horse? I mean, politely. But actually, that is just crazy, because, you know, these people, they had no limits for spending money. Well, this is so that's why even Alexander Pushkin was saying that Saint Petersburg was a shame of the country because of its luxury and splendor. Because all these people, they had so fabulous wealth.
Here is the monument for Nicholas, one of the rulers, and the cathedral.
Kind of a shame you can't go inside this way.
Eagle was the symbol of the Russian royal family. And so that's why this is also the flag from the time of the Russian royalty. And there is the flag of Saint Petersburg, of the city itself. And now we're driving like by this street, one of just regular streets of Saint Petersburg. This one, for example, it is called as the Decembris Street. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, so we can continue our sightseeing. And so that was St. Nicholas Cathedral. Do you like that? Yeah. Or some different, right? So the Cathedral of St. Nicholas. So now we drive around the cathedral and you will be able to see it also from a little distance. And now, for example, to the left, you see this area, which was built up already in the 19th century with some typical, apartment buildings for St. Petersburg. Because to the right, there was already like, the area, like industrial area, where also the people lived in these kind of, apartment buildings. Continue resizing, and now we're driving to Peter and Paul Fortress. So we're going to walk by the grounds of Peter and Paul Fortress. And after the good walk by the grounds of the fortress, we're visiting the cathedral itself, which is located right in the center of the grounds of the fortress. As I told you, the place where all the Russian tsars are buried. Yes, and so this is our next attraction. Well, I think it will take us probably, let's say, like 15-20 minutes to drive back to the Peterborough Fortress. Remember that one we saw from the place with red columns. And you see the canals of St. Petersburg. Actually, there are so many rivers and canals in the city, and that's the reason why actually the city calls the city is called as the Northern Venice, because all in all there are 65 rivers and canals, and the city sits on 42 islands, and that's why we have more than 400 bridges. And now we're driving back to the theater square. As you know already, St. Petersburg is the very important scientific center and tourism center, museum center, and so on and so on. So this is actually a very important city. Well, on the right, you can see that building, which is now covered with the scaffoldings because they're doing the reconstruction of this building. This is the Conservatory of St. Petersburg. This is the main one, Russia, and one you will see now on the right, the monument to Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. This one on the right. On the left you will see right behind the Mariinsky Theater the modern building. This is so-called second stage of Mariinsky Theater. Well, this is actually the absolutely new modern building. You see, it was constructed just a couple years ago and finished. Was constructed by the special design of the Japanese architect. So because the original theater is still functioning, but probably this is not enough, only this building, so that's why now they have like 2 stages, and even there is like a roof passage between 2 buildings, so they're all they're connected, so that's why you can like go through the old building to the new one. This is the Stevenson church we're going to visit after St. Petersburg. The only actual person who knew all the names of the prisoners, because officially they had only like numbers, so that's why actually during the whole history of the fortress no one actually managed to escape from the fortress, no one till the revolution. Yes. And so now we walk through this entrance all the way down to the entrance into the fortress, and on the way I will show you also the monument to Peter the Great, the great Russian emperor, that one who was like the great reformer, very smart and ambitious man. But he was not really a good-looking man, so you will see that in the portrait. I mean, in the sculpture. Well, but this is also, you know, like 18th century. Yes, Ivan the Terrible. Well, so Ivan III was the father of Ivan the Terrible, and he married this princess because you know that was, by the way, the end of Byzantium when Constantinople was taken by the Turkish people and became Istanbul. Yes, and she just ran first to Rome, because it was anyway called Roman Empire, but Rome was already like Catholic, and the only actually country with the same religion was Russia, because Russian Tsars took the same religion from this part of Roman Empire. For example, the first patriarchs were from Byzantium, from Constantinople, and they also emigrated to Moscow. So that's why Moscow became like a center of the Orthodox religion, Byzantine Orthodox religion. So that's why she also wanted to go to Moscow, because everyone was asking, are you crazy? Where are you going? Russia, Moscow? Because at that time, you know, that was like country, like some kind of Middle East, you know, some dangerous, you know, something like strange, and so that's why the people were like curious, what are you doing? But she just wanted to keep that religion. She was actually Byzantine Orthodox. Yeah. Small face, very long body and legs, and so that's why probably he was physically unusually strong. Was he well, probably yes. Fleet traps. Fleet traps. Yeah, he had a work like even
There's a cathedral. We're in the fortress.
The same material, and they look alike. The only difference is when you see some tombs with a double nipples on the corners, that means that these are all tombs of the Tsars themselves, because these are like family members. Not all of them, of course, they were Tsars, because every Tsar had like 10 children, and of course, not all of them were the Tsars. Some of them were just Grand Dukes, you know, members of the Russian royal family, and like enjoying the life, having the huge palaces, a lot of money, and nothing. And that's why after the death they were all there and inside, so it became like the burial place of the Russian royal family. But I would like to show you some tombs of the Russian royal family. Well, now you can see these are two different tombs. Well, they look pretty example, this one is rhodonite. Rhodonite is very expensive stone, and it's very hard one. And they were really happy until the revolution, because you know that during the revolution, Mary had to leave Russia, and she just ran away from Russia. Someone helped her to escape from Russia, and being, you know, Danish, she came back to Copenhagen because she was from the Danish royalty. Went back to Copenhagen. Even for them, she was already like foreign and strange because she grew up in Russia. In Russia, she had unlimited money, so she was paying back to Denmark. Of course, it was not like this because the European royal family was not like Russian family, spending so much money for nothing, for luxury, for everything. More like practical, so you spend only what you really need. And so that's why she was living in absolutely terrible conditions for her. Sitting at the table, you know, doing shots, and then suddenly the lady passed by, and he said, "Wow, who is that princess? So beautiful." And this easy man, this is my girlfriend. And he said, "Well, used to be, now this is mine. I'm taking her away." So that happened. Actually, Peter the Great took her to his palace, and he decided to marry. So, and interesting, she was originally from the low class, and finally, when actually Peter the Great died, she became the empress. Well, but there was also the king, like the funny story in Argentina, because you know the Alexander the First for X in Egypt, something like that. So that's why the people didn't want to protest. You know, so that's why there were not so many like revolutions actually at that time. So that's why they needed to make it like unstable, you know, like to push it back and forth. And so that's why the organizers wait to the people, so those big groups for the local people. And then some people came out and said, "Well, you're free now. You can go." Where we go?
Stopped at the restaurant here.
So we just came out.
Saint Petersburg, and so that's why, you know, probably when the First World War started in 1914, they decided, I mean, the government decided to change the name of the city for Petrograd. Petrograd. This is actually the same, but just using the Russian words, Petrograd, meaning the city of Peter. So that's why, you know, this district was later on called as a Petrogradsky district, because it was all like under the construction with a lot of these like apartment buildings. And that's why it is called as a Petrogradsky district. And you see that's this is the district with a rather big, public park. And that means that actually all these buildings were constructed at the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. Well, but anyway, we can go. The boat is right here. So anyway, I'll show them where the boat is. Okay, so you can get on board. So you'll be given with the headsets with the English explanation. It lasts for 1 hour. I'll be waiting for you right here.
are back from the tour. But some of the stuff I didn't show was the Hermitage Museum we went in, and the canal boat ride was fun, except for my headset stopped after the first little bit, and so I thought it had stopped for everybody and it was kind of pointless. But then I asked my brother and he said it was working for him, so that's kind of sad that I didn't get to hear most of the stuff. Just in case I didn't show earlier, we have the Aventura in port. It's the German cruise line. And the Peace Boat. I think I've heard of it, but no idea. It slightly resembles an old carnival ship. The Magnifica is still in port. And we are leaving very soon. See you in Helsinki, Finland.